Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. How does it feel to be here today in person? I was at the online ones last year, but it's a bit different, isn't it, this year?
Quite the same. It's a bit weird, to be honest. We've kind of forgotten how to do all of these things. I've forgotten how to make small talk and eat a croissant without getting it all down my front. But it's really lovely to be back in person. It's really nice to have nominees, isn't it?
It is, and to have the filmmakers with us as well. You just see the genuine pleasure and warmth in their faces when they hear all their hard work, and they've got nominations. So to kind of share that with them is something that I don't think we realised how much we had missed until we were kind of here today and in that room with those people, that it means so much to them. So that's been good.
I mean, it's hard to pick favourites, but could you just run through some of the highlights for you of the nominations this year?
I mean, it's really nice to see Boiling Point do so well, partly because the short film that the guys made initially was nominated at different, I want to say 2018, 2019, I'm not sure. So that's really nice, because it feels like it's a kind of BIFA baby that's grown up and come back to see us again. And yeah, the team from that were here today, that was really lovely. But there's a bunch of films there that I haven't seen yet. We have about 300 voters who are involved in the process of getting to nominations. And they spend enormous numbers of hours watching films and debating them and discussing them. There are a huge number entered, and they do an amazing job for us of narrowing down to the best ones. So we can't, with everything else that we're doing, manage to watch everything that's entered. So we just wait for them to pick the best ones. So there's a load still to see. I haven't seen the next yet. Actually, I'm really excited to see that.
And it's so nice to see that there's such a range of films as well, made by such an incredible range of people. There's tons of female filmmakers across the documentary list and across the
documentaries in all kinds of categories this year, not just in docs.
So that's really nice to see crossing over, and there's lots of kind of new talent popping up in the kind of main categories as well, both kind of on-screen performance and also filmmakers. So it just feels like it's a real kind of moment for the industry collectively to celebrate a real range of talent and a range of films and stories. So it's just a really brilliant list.
And what do you think the significance of the awards are? Like, what can it do for a first-time filmmaker's career or an emerging actor to have one of these under their belt?
Well, I mean, it's better to ask them, I suppose, than us. Yeah. But in their absence, it can really boost a filmmaker or a performer's profile internationally. The awards are taken seriously outside of the UK as well. And we've had filmmakers tell us that it's helped them to get their next film greenlit. So that is incredible for us. That's exactly what we wanted to do. We hope it gives them enormous confidence. We hope it helps them to do more of their career. Though the fact of being at the ceremony alone can't do that necessarily. So what we're trying to do is do more outside of the ceremony to make sure that kind of big moment of recognition turns into something that helps to build a career.
And I think it also, given that the voters for BIFA are from the industry, there's a real representation of the industry. Being recognised by their peers really does mean something, and the industry, both UK and international, really recognise that that's what BIFA does and what it stands for. And so it does make a difference when people manage to, filmmakers get agents off the back of their, even just being longlisted, and that's something like we've started releasing longlists in particular debut categories, because 5 nominees is not very many people, so the more of the spotlight we can shine on more talent has been really important. And filmmakers and talent and screen talent come up to us saying that it's fundamentally changed their career, and that's really important for us, and that's kind of what we strive for, and why emerging talent is so incredibly important to BIFA, is to allow us to help elevate that moving forward.
And just very finally, how do you see the health of the British independent film industry? I guess we're post-pandemic, but in terms of, like we were saying, female filmmakers, diversity, in front and behind the camera, how do you see it in general?
I think it's looking really good. We do an event for emerging filmmakers, which is for women and non-binary filmmakers. And we've been doing it for a while. In the early days of doing that, we would be like, oh, it's 30% non-male, that's exciting. But for the last few years, it's been 50-50. And that shouldn't obviously be something that you have to shout about. But it is good. These things are heading in the right direction. We try really hard to make sure that all of our processes and all the people involved in making the decisions are representative of the film industry and of the UK. And generally speaking, that is reflected in the lists, I think, as it comes out the other end. And I think that one of the reasons why we released those long lists, as Amy said, is because our voters were telling us that there is this enormous breadth of talent there that they want to make sure has a platform, and there is so much there that they want to share with more widely than their discussions. They can see enormous amounts of potential, particularly in the new talent that's coming through, and we find that really, we find that bit of it really inspiring. That's why we've expanded all of that, and why we've started a bit of a springboard to try and do as much as we can to really support that talent and to help it to flourish.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for having us here today.